up, Jay?
What's up? Getting into episode 9. We're almost at
Yeah, so
dibble
we
dibble.
I love us. Okay. After you, my friend.
I I meant double, but I said dibble.
Beautiful.
Double digits. Dibble digits. What?
So we're for those of you that are not watching, we were recording episode 8 and 9 back to back. And to not make up, but to continue the conversation, we both felt revitalized
Yes.
from the last conversation. We're ready to continue on. And
Yes.
so we continue with curiosity over compatibility.
Whoa.
Oh,
Audience, that I didn't know she was gonna say that. So curiosity over compatibility.
yeah.
Please,
So
please.
we talked about, are you, the question of, are you able to fall in love with me 17 times or more in this lifetime? Remaining curious as you show up to each and every single one of your relationships.
Mhm.
Work dynamics, friendships, romantic relationships, family dynamics, all of that. Who are you today? How are you today? How are you navigating the day?
Yeah.
Curiosity over compatibility, meaning
Hmm.
showing up with an open heart and the curiosity of truly wanting to find out how your friend is today versus you're my friend. You check these boxes, I check these boxes, we align here, so we're going off of that and we're continuing off of that. But that's not
Hmm.
right, like that's not always healthy or helpful, because then we've prescribed ourselves to the perception of who the person is instead of remaining open of, hey, maybe you didn't sleep well last night,
Right.
and maybe you had a really bad nightmare that just really altered you, and so you're in an altered state today.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, this is good. So this makes me think about uh like inside of the context of relationships, having ongoing conversations that it's not one and done, that we talk about something and then agree to it, and there can be that there's no statute of limitations in terms of if you need to talk about it more, there's not oh, we're done with it and we've already talked about it. Why are you revisiting this? It's, oh yeah, like if feelings come up at any point, you can talk about anything with me. There's
Yeah,
no done with something.
right. And when I'm so grateful that you continue to hold space in that way, because yesterday I had a shit day. It was like,
Yeah.
holy moly. Okay. Like I was so stressed out. Like I got sick a bunch of times at work, and I was just so stressed out, but I refused to go home because that was me. Um I'm not going home, damn it. I'm going to finish this day. And you continued to be like, what else? Tell me all the things.
Yeah.
What else? Express all of the things. Like, and then on the drive home, I listened to your voice memo. You were like, what else do you need to say? What else do you need to vocalize? What else? Like, I'm here for it. All of the things. And I'm so grateful that I
Mhm.
have you in this friendship and that I have Janine in our friendship, because we do the same thing
Yeah.
of what else? What
Yeah.
else?
Yeah.
Because sometimes we withhold and we don't fully share because we don't want to take up too much space, or we don't want to be the Debbie Downer, or we don't want to be like fill in the blank. Like I have this friend who just went through a divorce.
Mm.
And all last year, she kept apologizing. I'm so sorry that this is all that I'm talking about. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Your whole life, your sense of safety just drastically shifted.
Right.
However long you need to talk about this is how long you need to talk about this.
Yes.
And I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And if I need space, I'll say, hey, I don't think that I have capacity for this topic today.
Right.
But
Yeah.
for the most part, I was like, what, like, I remember going through my divorce and just like needing somebody to just fucking hear me out
Yeah.
without saying what you need to do, what you should do. This is what I would do. This is like, I don't need anybody to fix it. I just need the space,
Right.
vocalize it.
Oh, dude, that is so true. And oh, there's so many like gems in what you were saying. Um, it makes me think about I have I had this mentor friend, she's still my friend. Um, Shout out to Jareen
Mm,
because she and I had these amazing conversations, and she so beautifully embodies such a great listener
yeah.
and holding space for that that I healed so much with her. And I remember her saying many times, and it's important to say many times, is like, if we had great listeners in the world, this would be a different world. And you spoke to it like, oh my God, when somebody is putting their presence with you and listening and hearing you and seeing you, it is one of the most healing things that we can experience,
Yeah.
you know? And you're and when we create these barriers to that of like, oh, I don't want to burden my friend. I've talked about this so many times, like you're saying, and like I should just get over it by now. Like you are uh taking the opportunity away to build deeper trust with that person in your life. And simultaneously, you are robbing yourself of the opportunity to be held in a deep, loving way.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And by no means was I ever going to come to my friend and say, what you need to do is just fucking leave him. Like,
Yeah.
I would never,
Right.
that was not my place. And it's not my place to be like, listen, just go to counseling and like get over it. That's
Right.
not my place at all. My job as a friend, as a human being, was just to be like, what does your intuition say? And
Yeah.
it's okay if you change your mind. And it's okay if you change your mind
Yes.
17, 16, 15 times. Like whatever it is that you need
Yeah.
is what you need. And it's okay if you divorce him and then 2 years later get remarried. That's okay too. Who the
Yeah.
fuck cares? What what matters is that you're listening to your inner compass, your intuition. And as an intuitive and a healer, it's never my job to say that I know more
Right.
ever about anybody's life or what it like. Even if I can read a fucking soul contract, it is not my business to be like, listen, line 7
Yeah.
B says this right here, like this is what you need to do. Like, no,
Right.
just because I can read the thing and I can see it does not mean it is not my place. It is not what I signed up for in this lifetime. And so I really want to honor the space of wherever anybody is and however long they need to go through something. It's their choice.
Yeah.
Their
It is.
choice.
It
Like
is.
something in my life has felt unresolved, and I've communicated this with you several times, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right, but yet it doesn't feel resolved if I just flat out cut it out of my life.
Right.
There's something here for me, and I need to continue to investigate until I get whatever that thing is clicked in place. And
Yeah.
you continue to be like, okay, what else do you need?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because I know that you will do whatever you need to do and discover whatever you need to discover that I don't even know.
Right.
Um, and I trust that you are so powerful to figure out whatever you need to figure out, or allow whatever you need to allow, or accept whatever you need to accept, right? Like, I don't know. Whatever the case, I'm gonna love you right where you are.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have a part of me in the back of my mind that has opinions about it.
Mhm.
Sure, we all have opinions about stuff,
Right. Right. That's human
right?
nature.
Yeah,
Yes.
but if I let that part of me run the show and say that you should be doing something because I did it, or I feel that you should be doing it, I am cutting off and constricting any space for you to be you.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Sometimes you need to pick up the bottle 17 times. Sometimes, you know, sometimes you realize like, oh, this one's a little this doesn't quite fit. This might be a little
Right.
bit. We all know I gravitate towards coffee a little bit
Yeah.
harder.
Huh. Interesting. Shocking. Yeah, dude, like it's and I know we've talked about this, like you and I have had experiences of other people trying to impose their opinions on our lives. And it's coming from a loving place, and it's also coming from a fearful place that maybe they're
Right,
not even consciously aware of.
right.
They're inputting their stuff, and they're sort of merging with us and saying, you are me, and this is what you should do. And you feel that. You fucking feel that instantly, energetically. And I don't know about you, Lindsay, but when I feel that from people, oh, I'm getting so heated. When I fucking hear that from people and feel that, I
Yeah.
instantly want to resist and be like, uh, excuse me? Like, no,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Especially so for me, I feel that fired up in that way when somebody tells me I can't do something,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that
same.
I'm incapable.
Yeah,
Like, and my greatest fuck you is like, great, watch me dance circles around you.
yeah,
Watch me excel at the thing that you don't think that I'm capable of doing,
right.
which also isn't healthy because then I waste a lot of energy like pursuing just being able to pursue like just being able to like prove somebody wrong. Like
Yeah,
that's like that's unhealthy in its own pattern. But speaking to the context of what you're speaking about, like, yeah, it actually makes me not want to share
yes,
with that person
yes,
because if that's how I'm going to be met, I don't want to intimately open up on an
right,
emotional level and a mental level, especially when I'm being met with essentially judgments of what I should be doing versus,
right,
hey, there's something to discover here. What works for you and what doesn't work for you isn't necessarily the thing that works for me or doesn't work for me.
right, exactly. Yeah, and there's a fuzzy area, a gray area, whatever you want to call it, inside of there's people in our lives that we want to continue to have relationships with who do these things to us out of their own like wounding and fear, and like having compassion for them, I think is
Yeah.
really important. They're not
Yeah.
monsters. They're not maliciously, I mean, some people maliciously, but most of the time, people don't maliciously do this. And so it's how do you drop into being lovingly firm and saying, "Hey, I know that you care about me, and that's not going to work for me."
Right.
can you please respect that?
Yeah.
Or how do you feel about it?
Right.
Oh, well, I think you should do this. Okay, I understand that you think I should do something. And do you see that like the way you talk to me is impacting me to not want to say these things to you? Can we talk about that, the dynamic inside of that, right? Because as soon as you impose your opinion out of fear, the other person energetically, like you said, will become quiet because there isn't a listener on the other end.
Right.
Communication has so much to do about the listener than the talking.
Yes.
Shout out to Jurian for that one too, because she helped me see that so
Yeah.
beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah. And so getting quiet in in the conversation or in the dynamic, right? Like
Right.
this leads to my next question of when you get hurt, how do you protect yourself? Is it through just retracting?
Ah. I think that could be a big re response in me to pull away. And it can look like more explicitly of like not saying anything, or
Yeah.
more implicitly of me then hiding inside of myself or nodding and be like, uh-huh. And then inside I'm like, this doesn't feel right. Which,
Ooh. So you're communicating something, uh-huh, but
uh-huh,
internally you're saying, uh-uh.
right. Which is a piece that I will continue to work with inside of myself of being more congruent when things come up. And I know that that can be tricky too, because maybe there's some context where it's better that you don't say how you actually um, feel.
Right. And
Right.
especially with like with a dynamic with a narcissist.
Oh, yes, that.
I will just go quiet. I will not. One, I would just be wasting my energy.
Exactly.
There is no winning with a narcissist. It's just like, uh-huh.
Yeah, because they will,
Oh
whatever
yeah.
you say, they will weaponize it and try to
Oh,
pull more out of you. So
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And it's about discernment. I know we've talked about this, like uh avoidance is a way of being dishonest because
Yes.
there's an insidious component of, oh, I'm not going to say this right now, and then you end up never saying it or delaying it, and then you react. You
Right.
reactively say
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Avoiding
it.
create an explosive reaction for the future.
Yeah,
And avoiding harbors resentment
it
in
does.
both parties, in both parties, right?
Totally.
Like I have had so many relationship dynamics with avoidant individuals. And then I become resentful because I can sense and I can see that they're
Yeah,
holding things in and I'm like,
like
dude, what are you doing?
what's going
Why
on? Yeah,
what's happening? Yeah, yeah. But then later on, it's like this explosive reaction of like finally, like I'm releasing and expressing, but now you're expressing in an unhealthy, unhelpful way.
yep,
It's nice to know now, but why didn't you communicate that before?
right. Yes.
And if you
Yeah,
didn't feel safe enough to express that before, like why? Why didn't you feel safe enough? Are you harboring that sense of unsafety, or is something within this dynamic making you feel unsafe, right? Like so then you're beginning to tackle the layers of safety.
right. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What do you believe love is supposed to look like?
Ooh. Oh, this is so funny. I just watched a video on this sort of thing of like love versus fear. And this creator on Instagram was speaking to if you are in fear, you're actually not loving. And it felt very like dualistic, like binary of like, oh, fear is bad, love is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and I get where she's coming from in terms of like fear can make you, not make you, fear can elicit inside of you uh this like impulse to cling and attach and control
Yeah.
so that you could have the thing that you want, right? Like the person that you want or whatever, right? Um, so I understand there's components of fear that can then become not loving. And love and fear, like you can't avoid fear. And actually, fear is an important piece that can help us identify, like you were saying earlier, this something about this doesn't feel safe. What is it that doesn't feel safe? Um, so I like to approach it as let's be curious about everything that shows up in our relationship
Yeah.
and let's speak as honestly as we can towards each other,
Yeah.
be transparent, and assume the best intent of the other person.
Yes. Yeah.
Assume that the other person loves me so deeply and there is such good intention. And with that foundation, we can work through anything. But if I assume, for example, that you have malicious intent towards me, oh, I'm not going to believe anything you say,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah.
And if I assume that, I can't trust you, oh, I could build up some major beliefs about how you aren't good for me as a friend or whatever it may be, right? Like, so what love means to me is that we welcome everything that shows up and we don't shove it in the dark. We look at it together and we express. I mean, look at us Leos, like express our feelings.
Look at us, Leo.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it's that's what love feels like to me when I get to like show up and be unfiltered and not unfiltered in a um I'm going to be harsh to you because some people like we've learned to equate honesty with harshness, which is really sad,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, I'm just being honest, but I'm actually being so mean to you.
Yes. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I can be honest with you and loving and assume the best, most loving intent that you have for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Showing up with sweetness and tenderness,
Yeah.
caring, compassion, and kindness.
I think that those are the things that create extraordinary relationships.
Yeah.
When I can soften to anything that you bring to me.
Right. Softening. That's what love is, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes there's tough love
True. Yes.
in the sense of like, listen, you're in a pattern that is unhealthy for you, and I see how distressed you continue to be.
Yeah.
That's when tough love needs to come up. Of
Yeah.
like, listen, you're in an unhealthy cycle, and you, as my friend, I care about you.
Right.
Where are you? What are you doing to yourself? Right? Like, that's when I want the
Yeah.
tough love. Like, okay, listen.
Right. Or in an intimate relationship, hey, you're
Yeah.
doing this thing and it hurts me.
Ooh, yeah.
And I need you to work with me so that I can feel safe inside of this relationship, that I can come to you with this and that you're going to work on it. Because listen, like other people see our blind spots, especially in intimate relationships.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's a gift for a partner to come to you and say, "Hey, I'm seeing this thing in you and it hurts me."
Yeah, but also like you need to establish that, like, honestly, like you need to really set the foundation of, when I'm being open and honest with you in this way, it's not a malicious thing.
Right.
Not me taking, an emotional dagger and be like, here, I'm sticking it to you.
Yeah.
It's more of a, hey, I see this.
Yeah.
I see this. And because I care about you, do you see this too? Are you ignoring this within yourself?
Right.
You ignoring this dynamic that you find yourself in, right?
Right.
I I have been avoiding a conversation because I know I know that it will shatter this person's delusion.
Yeah.
This delusion that they are in has become a false sense of safety. And more than anything, I really want to establish the foundation, re-establish the foundation with this person, that my love for them is secure
Hmm.
and my love for them is genuine. And
Mm.
I will not have this conversation until I know that this foundation is reestablished. I won't.
That's also an important piece of like timing
Yes.
and
Yeah.
discerning
Yeah.
when it's appropriate to
Mhm.
speak the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
That's also how I view love to be.
Yeah.
Like knowing that there is a sensitive subject.
Uh-huh.
And this is where withholding is actually healthy because it is so sensitive.
Yeah.
And more than anything, I want the foundation to be strong of, hey, I love you. And no matter what you choose, I'm still here for you.
Yeah.
Just you have to know that what you're choosing has a ripple effect on this relationship, right?
Hmm.
Knowing you have to know that if this is what you choose, there is a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that ripple effect? And if you are, by all means, please continue. And if you're not, how can we repair
Hmm.
what is now disjointed between us?
Yeah. And here's a question for you. How do you discern when it is the right time to speak this thing?
That's when I tune into my intuition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really.
Because I asked that because many times, right, there's no right timing.
Right.
It could go well, it could be messy.
It could be very messy.
And that has nothing to do with you your discernment. That
Right.
could be just the way it needs to play
Right.
out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And more than anything, I need to make sure that I'm in a good spot for
sure.
that conversation.
Yeah,
I don't want to have that or bring that to the table of, let me stick it to you. That's not the vibration that I want
yeah,
the conversation to go. Yeah.
yeah. Ooh, that's a good piece too of like energetically checking in with yourself. Where am I with my own energy as I think about bringing this conversation to this other person? Energetically, how am I holding this? Right? What's my intention with this conversation? What is my intended outcome? How am I feeling about this conversation? What am I believing about this conversation? Sort of clearing out any barriers that would have you um, be in a energetically constricted, fearful place.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, which leads perfectly into my very next question. Are
Oh, look
you
at
perfectly? Are you willing to work on the parts of you that make connection hard?
that. Oh.
Because love isn't always enough if repair feels impossible. And so,
Wait. Say that
regarding
again. Please say that again.
love isn't always enough if repair feels impossible. So, are you willing to work on yourself, right? Because anytime you point the finger at somebody, there's three pointing back at you,
Yeah.
right? Like, and you know this about me. I'm always going to be like, okay, where am I?
Yes. What am
The
I doing?
question yesterday, where am I stuck in a fantasy? Where am I stuck in the delusion? Like,
Yeah. This is a important piece because one side of it is um okay, I'll give you an example. In my previous relationship, uh and this goes back further than that, I didn't really learn how to apologize.
okay, yeah,
And so when I got into this previous relationship, my ego hated apologizing
mm,
because it would bring me into shame because apologizing was associated with blaming me for the whole thing.
yeah,
So
yeah,
what I did was I didn't apologize to avoid that whole dynamic inside of myself,
mm,
right? Which then, of course, hurt the relationship because I wasn't willing to acknowledge her feelings. So my side of it was I was blocking myself from softening, from really being with her and her feelings because I was so worried and fearful about shame and feeling shame. Now, the other side of it was she then held things against me
mm,
and
mhm,
wasn't willing to forgive me, which then we were bouncing off of each other and couldn't repair. Like we weren't, the components of repair were not syncing up for either
right,
of us.
right, yeah.
Right? So you're right. Like you can have love, but if you don't have repair, mm-mm, it's not going to work.
Right. And it takes the uncomfortable steps of having the uncomfortable conversation. And then the mutual goal of, do you want to continue having this relationship?
Right.
And that's with any relationship, right? It's not just romantic. It's like, do you want me in your life? Like,
Right.
and that goes with family.
Yeah.
There is a pattern in my family, and this goes back many generations of just like cutting people out, not having a conversation, like fuck off, this is too intense for me, like we're done. We no longer speak. And then it's like, well, what happened? Like, wait a minute. Like, did I deserve that? Like, is that
Right.
really wait a minute. Like I have a sister who I haven't spoken to in years. And I'm going over here like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Did I deserve that? Like, are we sure about that? And then
Right.
also, like, I stopped reaching out because I know that I don't deserve to be treated that way. So when you're willing and able to have a conversation, like a conversation,
Yeah.
not an attack, a conversation, that's when we can begin really repairing.
Yeah.
But if you're unwilling to even meet me at the open table that I have multiple times set,
Hmm.
hey, I'm here when you're ready,
Yeah.
then okay, like you are showing me what you're choosing. I am not going to chase after you. I'm
Right.
not. I love you, but I also love me too.
Yeah. Yeah. And the chasing after it speaks to there's something in the relationship that is not mutual,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
so that can't sustain itself.
Right. And which leads to reflecting on my own romantic relationships of continuously
Mm,
chasing after the avoidant of, you know, coming to the table, but don't you choose me the way that I choose you? It's like,
right.
okay, this pattern's unhelpful.
Yeah.
Fuck that. If you don't choose me, I'm sorry. I thought you were smart.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm dope as fuck. And if you don't pick me, well, moving
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
Thank you. Thank you. It's
Yeah,
information. It's information. What do I want to do with that? Like you're displaying a specific pattern. Do I want to continue interacting with that? There's no judgment. There's the
right,
reflective question of, is this healthy and helpful for me? Is this a dynamic that I really want to be a part of?
right. Yeah. Yeah, how is that all feeling like now, presently?
What, the romantic stuff or just
The,
relationships?
the relationships, the dynamic that uh you move through and where you are now?
Yeah, I mean, there, it's so funny because I was listening to, fun fact, audience, we have been establishing a Spotify presence.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we need to talk about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was listening to episode 2, just reflecting on where I'm at with relationships in general
Hmm.
and allowing the sense of sadness that has continued to come up as I continue to repair and move forward,
Yeah.
and shift and unlearn unhealthy, unhelpful patterns. Um, yeah, listening to episode 2, I was really sad about it. I was
Hmm.
really sad about recognizing um, a pattern that I have been in for years. And now I observe the pattern with a sense of empowerment of great. This is information that I cool. Like when I recognize that I'm in a dynamic, I get to shift that dynamic. I get to be like, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
What is it that I want to choose moving forward? How do I want to exist in this life? If
Yeah.
it doesn't light me up, I'm not going to pursue it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't make me feel excited, I don't want to pursue it.
That's a really great standard to uphold, right?
Yeah.
And of course, there's things in life that are challenging, that come with the things that energize us, right? And you do have a choice overall in what you decide to have your compass be in life, right? Like I've known plenty of people that have chosen careers because of the money, but they're
Right.
miserable. And they're like, "Oh, when I retire, like that's when I'll be happy." And it's just like, okay, if you want to do that, like you're letting all of these years pass by miserable.
Yeah.
And also, I will speak to privilege inside of this. I do have privilege to choose a career that I get to choose. Not everybody gets to do that, right? There's people who don't have the resources that I've had.
Right.
Um, and so I definitely want to own my privilege inside of that. And wouldn't it be great if like people like you and I were wealthy so that we could help people who are in that position,
Yeah.
right? Like look at all of the million billionaires who spend money on things that they could be spending money on people and making people's lives better.
There are
There are, you're right.
there are people who fund things like
Thank you
projects.
for that. You're right. That is very
Yeah.
true.
So I'm gonna put the energy out there of searching for the funding so that we can searching for a sponsor so that we can,
Yeah,
right? I'm gonna hold that vision that
love
it
that.
will happen with ease because I know that what we offer is a game changer for people.
Yeah,
I know that what we offer is a game changer for people
for sure.
because I've heard it within every single one of the clients that we worked with,
Yeah.
every single one.
Dude, that was awesome. Thank you for that shift. Because I could feel myself going down a route of like frustration. And you just so beautifully shifted it to, well, no, there are people like that present, and we could join with them now
Yeah,
to help us continue to be resourced and move towards like helping more and more people.
right.
Beautifully done.
I'm gonna hold that vision for us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you see how easy it is for me and other people to go into like, oh, this is so annoying and like
Right,
fuck rich people. No, that's not that's not helpful. And I have that narrative in me, and you help me move towards something different. And that's what like community can do, is because we all have these things that live inside of us. And speaking it helps us not only like put it into consciousness and look at it, but also surrounded by people who will be like, hey, like how about this? You
right. It's a loving nudge of let's just focus over here.
And that's what you just did. And I so appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. We're real and raw here. We get into it.
Very.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
What helps you to feel safe after a rupture?
Hmm.
So we're talking about like repair,
Yeah.
repairing relationships, shifting. It's natural. You're naturally going to trigger each other.
Right.
In any relationship, you're
Yeah.
going to trigger each other. What helps you to feel safe again after a rupture?
Hmm. For me, I feel most safe when when things kind of settle and we can come back and curiously talk about what happened inside of the interaction that led to the rupture.
Yeah.
There's also a piece of, and I do this with my couples that I work with, is many times when we have ruptures, we will go towards, I'm gonna withdraw any love from my partner
Mm,
because I'm in such a protective state
yeah.
that I'm not gonna soften and I'm not gonna be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And yet, like, what we so deeply need in those moments is a reminder to each other
Yeah.
that, hey, I'm angry at you and I love you.
Yeah.
Like, holding both of those things,
Yeah.
hey, like, this is really difficult for me and I want to work this out with you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, those components, like, those really help me repair and feel safe and like settled and like, okay, we can work through this.
Mhm.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah. For me, it's consistency.
In what way? Say more.
Um, uh, like the consistency of continuing to show up,
Yeah.
the consistency of like, hey, I care about you and I'm still here and I'm not going anywhere,
Yeah.
right? Like this might be difficult for both of us, but let's like clearly I still care. And
Yeah.
even if that means that the dynamic will shift a bit, like I'm still here and I'm still
Yeah.
showing up. Um, I mean, especially because of me and my own history of like just being like dropped,
Uh,
of being suddenly like excommunicated or suddenly just be like cut out of like, I don't know what will you at least have a conversation? Like, what happened?
yeah,
Like, um, yeah, when you or anybody who shows up consistently, and then I'm like, okay, you've got my attention.
yeah,
Like, you're showing up in the same way that I do. You're showing up in a similar way of saying like that you care because
yeah,
I do that. I show up consistently with a big heart, and if I detect anywhere that like it's an exchange, if I detect anywhere that there's expectation, like I withdraw.
yeah,
I
yeah,
do withdraw. Like I deserve to be loved for exactly who I am. And if you're unable to do that, then okay. Yeah,
right.
thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you. Because I love people for exactly who they are. And it's very easy for me to do. And and if you display or if anybody displays, um, you know, that it's not easy to love me, like, well, okay, thanks. Good to
yeah,
know. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that makes sense. The consistency piece makes a lot of sense because I've seen that with you consistently showing up. Um, One recent way was that you've asked me every day, you've texted me, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
Hmm.
And that's been such a sweet check-in, and it lets me know like that you're thinking of me and that you care about me. And the energy that comes with that message is so much love.
Mhm.
And that's amazing. And I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Right?
and you allow yourself to receive that love.
Yeah.
I know I'm a big channeler, and I channel divine love. And
Yeah.
that can be really intense for people.
Sure.
Um and I find myself in a space of, if people are unable to accept or receive love, like I'm going to be a lot for them.
Yeah.
I just I,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
it's going to be a lot. And so I navigate with tenderness, um but also I find that I sometimes will end up withholding how I show up in my big energy, in my big way, and my big channel of like open heart. Let me just love and shine it like a Care Bear. Um,
Yes.
because I know it can be intense. Like my ex-husband even said to me, he's like, but what you channel and how you love is really intense for me. And I remember going like, that's it.
Yeah.
The man is unable to receive love and I am too much for him.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it was no judgment in the sense of like, okay, this is information for me.
Yeah.
Uh, you're not in alignment with me. If you're unable to receive love in a big way,
Yeah, this
then
isn't gonna work.
it's not going to work. It's not going to work for me because if I have to continuously withhold
Hmm.
and hold myself small, I don't want to be in a dynamic like that.
No. No, definitely not. Like you want to be able to expand and like show your fullest to people around you.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, more and more, that's why I end up choosing people who have big love. Because I am capable of holding that with people and receiving that. I'm also capable of giving that. And so I tend to gravitate towards people who uh, are intense people in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. And loving can be intense if you are not used to receiving it.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, it speaks to your own capacity to be with your own self and your own feelings. Yeah. And what are you believing about your own intensity and your own feelings, right? Because those things are beautiful. And actually, when you let yourself fully embrace that and find freedom in the expression of that, oh, you magnetize so many beautiful things in your life.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else?
At this moment, no.
I'm so glad you mentioned Spotify. We are on Spotify. Um, I'm slowly putting the episodes on there, so you can definitely listen to it on there and not just on YouTube. Um, and then yeah, like what another beautiful conversation about relationships, expression, the elements of relationships, repair.
Mhm. Mhm.
You brought good, like really good questions. Love it.
Thanks.
Yeah, good stuff. But yeah, audience, please DM us if you're interested in future workshop series coming up, and or DM us about any questions that you have or anything that you would like us to discuss, and we're super excited to jump into more.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a fan base happening.
We
I'm like,
do.
I'm like, wait a minute, you listen. Wait
Yeah.
a minute, you listen. Like, oh, that's fun. That's cool. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Quit.
You're like,
You.
oh, I was really vulnerable. Okay.
What I signed up for.
Yeah.
That's me being me.
Yeah.
If I didn't put my heart on the table and be like that, look at that.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be me. And we talk about the realness of life. We talk about the realness of healing and the nuances of letting people in. It's not always easy.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is. And sometimes it's confusing that it's easy. And talking about talking about it all being real, being authentic, unapologetically you is what we agreed to here at North Node. And we ask our clients to be fully vulnerable, and we don't ask our clients to do something that we don't do. And so that's what we signed up for, and that's what we're upholding. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Beautifully said, my friend. So good. Well, we hope y'all have whatever great day it is, and we will be back with episode 10. Dibble digits. All right. And North Node out. Bye, guys.